He spent 9 months planning the perfect crypto heist. A 3-cent transaction fee destroyed everything. March 2024. A hacker known as GhostExic announced on a private Telegram channel that had found a vulnerability in a multi-signature wallet. Not just any wallet, one holding $89 million in Ethereum. The wallet belonged to a DeFi protocol called Arcadia Finance, and GhostExic had spent 9 months reverse engineering their smart contract, had found the exploit. A single line of code that, if triggered in the right sequence, would transfer all funds to his wallet. The plan was perfect. Had tested it 47 times on the testnet. It worked every single time. All he needed to do was execute the attack on the mainnet. One transaction. $89 million. Retirement. Here's how the exploit worked. Arcadia Finance used a multi-signature wallet that required 3 out of 5 administrators to approve any transaction. Standard security. But GhostExic found something in the smart contract. There was a 12-second window after the 3rd signature was submitted where the contract was unlocked. During those 12 seconds, the contract would validate the signatures, prepare the transaction, and wait for final confirmation. If someone could submit a conflicting transaction during that window, the contract would get confused. It would execute both transactions simultaneously, the legitimate one and the malicious one. GhostExic's plan was to monitor the mempool, the waiting area where transactions sit before being added to the blockchain. The moment he saw a legitimate transaction from Arcadia Finance, he'd front-run it. He'd pay a higher gas fee to ensure his transaction got processed first. The contract would see his transaction as legitimate because it was arriving during the unlocked window, and it would send all $89 million to his wallet. April 15, 2024. 3:42 in UTC. GhostExic had been monitoring the mempool for 6 weeks. Finally, he saw it. A legitimate transaction from Arcadia Finance. They were moving $2 million to a new treasury wallet. This was his moment. He submitted his malicious transaction with a gas fee of 500 GUI, 5 times higher than normal. Miners would prioritize his transaction. He watched the blockchain explorer. His transaction was pending. Block 19,847,261. His transaction would be in the next block. $89 million in 14 seconds. But then something unexpected happened. The gas fee for the next block suddenly spiked. From 100 GUI to 2,000 GUI. Someone else was doing a massive transaction. GhostExic panicked. His 500 GUI fee wasn't enough anymore. He needed to resubmit with a higher fee. But there's a problem with resubmitting Ethereum transactions. You have to use the exact same nonce, a unique identifier for each transaction. If you change the nonce, it becomes a different transaction. GhostExic resubmitted with 2,500 GUI. Same nonce, higher fee. The network would replace his old transaction with the new one. Or so he thought. Here's what GhostExic didn't know. The Ethereum network has a quirk in how it handles transaction replacements. If your original transaction has already been picked up by some miners, but not yet confirmed, and you submit a replacement, the network gets confused. Some miners are processing the old transaction. Some are processing the new one. And here's the critical part: if both transactions try to execute at the same time, and they're both valid, the network has to decide which one to include in the block. It picks the one with the higher fee, but it charges you the fee for both. GhostExic's original transaction 500 GUI fee equals $47. His replacement transaction 2,500 GUI fee equals $237. Total cost if both execute $284. But he only had $281 in his wallet to cover fees. He was $3 short. When the block was mined, the network tried to execute his replacement transaction. It checked his wallet balance. Insufficient funds. Transaction reverted. But the original transaction was still in the mempool, so the network tried to process that one. Instead, but by now, the 12-second exploit window had closed. The Arcadia Finance contract had completed its legitimate transaction. The exploit was no longer valid. GhostX6 transaction was rejected. $89 million gone because of a $3 miscalculation. GhostX6 posted in the Telegram channel 6 hours later. I don't understand what happened. It should have worked. Other members analyzed the blockade. When they figured it out, the $3 fee error, the channel went silent. For 3 days, no one posted. Then a message from a user called Zephyr. This is why you always test with maximum gas prices. GhostX6 just taught everyone a $89 million lesson for free. But here's the darkest part. Arcadia Finance never knew they were under attack. They saw the failed transaction in their logs. But it looked like a random bot trying to interact with their contract. They dismissed it. If GhostX6 had just put $10 more in his wallet, the heist would have succeeded, and Arcadia Finance would have woken up to an empty treasury. In August 2024, a security researcher reached out to Arcadia Finance. He explained what had happened. They reviewed the blockchain data. They confirmed the exploit was real. And they realized that if GhostX6 had succeeded, their protocol would have collapsed. 50,000 users would have lost their funds. The protocol issued a statement: "We were saved by an attacker's arithmetic error." They patched the vulnerability. But the craziest part, 2 weeks later, someone else tried the exact same exploit. This time, they had enough gas fees. But Arcadia had already fixed the bug. The transaction failed. That attacker was never identified. But blockchain analysts believe it was GhostX6. Trying one more time. With $10 extra in his wallet. November 2024. A smart contract auditing firm called Quanta analyzed the GhostX6 incident. They found something disturbing. 3,200 other Gephi protocols have the same vulnerability. Combined, they hold $14 billion in assets. Quanta contacted every single one. Only 180 responded. 92 have patched the exploit. 88 said they're evaluating the risk. The other 3,020 never replied. That means $11.7 billion is still vulnerable to the same attack. And every hacker who saw what happened to GhostX6 now knows the exact mistake to avoid. All they need is $10 more than he had. One researcher put it perfectly: GhostX6 wrote the blueprint for the biggest crypto heist in history. He just forgot to buy the ink. In episode 4, he'll reveal the 3 Gephi protocols that security researchers say are most vulnerable, and the hacker group that's already targeting them. But 68% of you still aren't subscribed. If you want to know which wallets to avoid, subscribe now. Tomorrow, I break down the tool hackers use to calculate perfect gas fees.